Hello everyone, welcome to the Boleyn Lounge. I'm Jeff. As you can see, I've got my usual co-host Mick Purdy with me. How are you, Mick?
I'm good, thanks, Jeff. Good to see you over the weekend in person.
Yeah, it was lovely to see you, mate. And well, we've had a bit of the summer off. There's a bit to talk about on the West Ham front. I don't think we're going to cover it all this evening, so guess we can just cover the immediate stuff and perhaps catch up with it over the next few weeks.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, first things first, Saturday we watched the game together. I did a little match review earlier on a video, so if anyone's watched that, I'm sure they've got my thoughts on it. So, what were your thoughts on Saturday?
Saturday. Well, I thought we were obviously not settled in the first 20, 25 minutes, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We played poorly. I think settled would be a better word for it. And then I think we grew into the game. And we started to see some good stuff from new signings. Kilman, Rodriguez, Wan-Bissaka when he came on. So, yeah, it's promising. It's not... it's a slightly different style of football. I'm not sure it's completely different. Yeah, but we weren't sitting back hoping that we might break on you. So, which is better. I think the Villa game, going back a game before, we could have easily have been 3 or 4 down probably in that settling in period. Grew into the game and then, not that we were unfortunate to lose it, but I thought could have sneaked a point, but probably didn't deserve it in fairness throughout the 90 minutes. But there's definitely signs of a slightly different style. I wouldn't say it's completely different, but then all the new players are not in yet. People have to bed in. We spoke, obviously I was down with you the weekend. We spoke about it, you can't judge, in my opinion, you can't judge the signings, or everyone's getting excited saying, oh, we could be top 6, we could do this, we could do that. If we finish top 10 with all the new players that we've got this year, then I think that's a good start. They could turn around and become very, very good quite quickly, but I think we need to let so many players, if you look at historically in the Premier League, especially with teams that have come up, which I know we haven't, but with teams that have come off and gone and bought 10, 12, 14 players, I know we haven't bought as many as that, but want to change the team, come Christmas, historically they're always in the bottom 3 or 4. So I think we have to be patient. I like the players. I like Rodriguez. I thought Aston Villa first 20, 25 minutes, he was struggling. I think you said
struggled in the Villa game, didn't he?
Yeah, the feel of the game. I don't think there's so much the pace, just playing with new players. And I thought after that, I noticed his positional changes, little changes he made in his positioning, giving more comfort on the ball. As much as everyone loves Thomas Souček, I still think if we're going to go into this retention of the ball game, then he has to get better at that. Obviously, he works, and he got his goal on Sunday, or Saturday, sorry. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. For all his flaws, Thomas Souček, and we know that we know he's not. I touched on this in my review. We know he's not technically particularly gifted. He struggles to make simple passes at times, but getting in that box, and he's dangerous, with his head, his feet. He's remarkable. We've seen him score a couple of absolute cracking goals, and you look and you go, was that Souček? Because he's clearly got it in his locker. But I think if he has to think about it or anything like that, I don't think the brain engages with defeat. I think if he just has to do it off of instinct in that moment, crash a volley into the top of the net, he can do that. He needs to trap a ball and have to look over his shoulder and know where he's going to put it next. I think he struggles with that.
He does struggle with that. It's just that you just worry about if all these ball players are coming into the team. Sufal again. He's had a bit of a stick on other channels and stuff. Again, he does struggle with the. We are trying to play a little bit out of that. I think Parnas is growing into that. He's made a few mistakes, but again, he is trying. And then you say that run from Kilman that set Bowen's goal up, that's the sort of thing that will be different. That's the sort of thing that will be definitely different. You wouldn't see Zuma or even Maynard, who I still rate. I'll still be ashamed if he leaves the club. I still think he's got a job he could do on the left side of defence, even if it's left back. We're not strong at left back. I've said it before. I don't understand why he can't be used as a left back because he's still a good player. That's not the robust centre half that we need. But so I think all in all, it looks okay. But as I say, we'll judge it at Christmas when all these players have settled in, get to know each other. Fulcrook had a chance; he didn't even get it on target. That was worrying because he was. I
think in 3 weeks' time, though, Fulcrook doesn't dilly-dally think about what he's going to do. He probably just runs on that. He either hits it first time or takes one touch and hits it.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a different outcome. But he just looks to me like a player that's settling in, new team, new teammates, new league. I think he's got a bit to offer, though, if I'm honest. He hasn't played a lot, but he's shown signs of.
I have watched a bit of him in the last, not just the Euros. Now I've seen him like in Champions League games and stuff. He's all right. Whether he's the full upgrade we need, but he's certainly going to improve us. I would think.
Well, he definitely plays differently to Antonio, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was disappointed in both games as well.
Both games, I thought Antonio was just alarmingly disappointing, actually.
Not the usual Mickey we've grown to love. No. Again, maybe he's finding it difficult with what he's been asked to do. I don't know what he's been asked to do because I can't, as I said earlier, I can't see the massive changes. There's little changes, but there's not massive changes.
What it is for me, I think there's green shoots, isn't there? You can see that we're trying to start to keep hold of the ball. We're trying to distribute the ball around. I thought on Saturday we knocked it about between the goalkeeper and the back four a little bit, but we sort of run out of ideas a little bit and sort of resorted to just pumping it up the field a bit too often in the first half. We did a bit less of that in the second half, but we had a bit less possession and we were a bit more counter-attacking in a way, and the 2 goals were like counter-attacking goals, defenders carrying the ball out of defence, up the pitch, and then our strikers taking over and doing what they need to do with it.
But it wasn't just Bowen. When we counter-attack, we seemed to counter-attack with 1 or 2. We had people that they were gone. Like it was a proper counter-attack. Not a long ball and we'll still leave 5 at the back, if you know what I mean. There is differences. There's changes.
Yeah, there is. Well, and we've had we're talking about the new players coming in, getting settled in. In our first game, we had 5 debutants. We've had 2 games now. We've had 6 debutants.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not taking his time about integrating. He's giving them minutes here and there. He's trying to use them a bit more. No, we're not used to seeing 5 substitutions in a game. We've had 2 games and there's been 5 substitutions in both of them.
Yeah. That's a big difference. So, yeah. And the substitutions he's bringing on are also good players. Like last year when you're bringing on, no offence to a Bonner or players like that, but, there were players that ain't really going to make a difference. And you're bringing on players that can make a difference, like Somerville.
Absolutely. Somerville, Wan-Bissaka came on, Fulcrook came on. I actually think Wan-Bissaka got all of the plaudits kind of deservedly so. I thought he was very good when he came on.
Mm.
But I thought Fulkrug did a few bits as well, but was perhaps because of Wan-Bissaka it was overshadowed what he did. But actually, I think when both of them came on, it contributed to the game change.
Absolutely, it did. 100%. 100%.
Anyway, overall, pretty happy. We got a big 3 points. I think it was important to get those 3 points with City looming at the weekend. And in between that,
I've got that as a home banker on my coupon, Jeff. So
yeah.
I've got it as 2-0. Yeah, I've got it as 2-0.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But in between that, we've got Bournemouth, tricky Carabao Cup tie potentially.
Sorry, Jeff. You carry on, mate. Sorry, I'll interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, what's your expectations on Wednesday?
So, funny enough, I think we're very Bournemouth of last year in terms of, I can never say that man's name, but their manager came in.
Areola.
What's his name?
Something like that. Areola or something like that.
Yeah, I think they lost 6 of the first 7 games or something like that. Not great. Mm-hmm. But now look at them. And that's what I'm saying. But he brought a lot of players in. He made a lot of style changes. Yeah. And I actually think they're a top 8 side. Yeah. Having watched them last season and again this season, he hasn't got a massive squad. But if he keeps his players reasonably fit, so that's a tough ask tomorrow. They're a well organised side. They look like a proper football team. And considering what they looked 12 months ago.
Yeah, and I don't know what Areola's attitude towards the game's going to be and what 11 he's going to put out. And, if he puts out close to his strongest 11, then it really will be a tough game, I think. And if he decides to put out a weakened side, see, that changes the dynamic a bit. And I don't know what his attitude would be, but I would imagine if he wanted to win the game, much like you'd expect Lopetegui to be wanting to win the game.
Yeah, well, the question is, again, we spoke about this at the weekend, is what do you want to win? You've only got, we've no chance of winning the league, nor have they. So we're not in Europe, neither are they. So you've 2 competitions, the League Cup and the FA Cup, that you have a chance of winning. So I'll be very disappointed if we put out a weakened side, but it's hard for us to put a weakened side out now with the squad that we've got, to be fair. So you've got to be looking, when you say a weakened side, a different side doesn't make it a weakened side. But we have to be looking at least going as far in these competitions as we can. Hopefully win one, as we spoke about the weekend.
Yeah, I think our ambition should be to try and win. But I just want to acknowledge the chat. There's a couple of people come in. So, hi, Wazim. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's been a while. So thanks for sticking with us and popping in the chat. And Colin, thanks for coming in. Nice to see you in the chat. And please get involved. Put your opinions in. And I'll try not to forget about your comments. So I've done a little slide on Bournemouth anyway, just a little bit. They haven't got much injury worries, but what they have got are quite long term. So they've got that Unal. He's, I think he's broken his ankle or something like that. So he's got no return date. Tyler Adams was their American midfielder. They sort of, I think he's barely played a game for them, but it's quite a sad story for him. He's had back surgery and one thing another, possibly returns at the end of the year here. And David Brooks, no return date on him either. But really and truly, perhaps with the exception of Unal, they're kind of like been longer term injuries, not something that would impact Areola's selection for tomorrow's game. So all in all, he's got a pretty full squad to choose from, I would say.
Yeah. David Brooks is quite a big loss for them generally. He's the influential player in their team. As you said, Tyler Adams has barely played, so I don't know the other lad. Sorry, I don't know nothing about him. I'm being honest.
I think he's a new signing that's come in and suffered an injury. So, yeah, just bad luck for them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've put a bit of current form and one thing in there, but really and truly, at this stage of the season, I don't think it tells us a lot. I didn't see their game against Forest, so I can't really comment too much about that. But they were very unlucky not to get a result against Newcastle there and have that goal disallowed by.
That goal was a goal for me. I can't see how you could possibly give that as a handball.
Yeah, really poor, I think. But there we are. It is what it is, and they got a point and not 3. But I think they're a little bit robbed. So really, they probably should have 4 points rather than 2.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I say the form table tells the full story. So going on to Lopetegui, what we think he might do, thinking he might give some different players a run out. Do you think we ought to have a guess and try and second guess Lopetegui in what team he might put out tomorrow, bearing in mind he started the last 2 games with the same 11? Do you think that's going to happen tomorrow, or do you expect changes?
I would think he'd have changes because he's got somehow or other he's got to keep this integration going. So I would think he'll definitely make changes.
Yeah, well, I've been sort of playing around on one of these tactical boards that you can use. So I've put a team together that it's a possible. To be honest with you, I'm a bit unsure about a couple of players in a couple of positions, but I think that's like a nice problem that we have now. That our squad is much better this year. So I'll bring it up anyway, and we can have a fiddle, Mick, and see if we can get the team right. This is the team I've kind of put together. I don't know if you can see that. Is that full screen with you?
No, could do be a bit bigger. We can do it.
Let's do that. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay. I need to go onto the page so that I can edit it. Anyway, so I think there'll be some changes tomorrow. I'm not sure what Lopetegui's attitude is around goalkeepers and whether he's going to go with a Premier League goalkeeper and a cup goalkeeper, or if he's just going to stick to number 1. But I'm kind of second guessing that he's going to try and give Fabianski some minutes, and I've put him in goal. Would you agree with that, or have you got a different view?
Well, I think it's a respect thing. I think Fabianski has to be respected. You know, I know it's probably his last season anyway, but I think you have to respect the fact that he's still a good goalkeeper. And should something go wrong with Areola, injury-wise or what, you need to keep him reasonably sharp. So I would have thought he would definitely go with Fabianski for them 2 reasons.
Yeah, I sort of tend to agree, and that's why I've put him in. Now I've started. I've sort of gone a loose 4-3-3, whatever, however you want to describe it. But he tends to push the fullbacks up a bit, so I've kind of positioned him there. I've said that he's going to start with Emerson. I don't really know if he will, though. I don't know if he's going to give Cresswell a run out, but I would like. I'm not sure Cresswell should start the game, so I think I'd be happy with Emerson.
Well, the problem with Emerson,
do you agree or not?
Well, the problem with Emerson is going to be the same problem we had last year. You've got to be careful you run the fella into the ground because he got a little bit of stick towards the end of the season that he didn't perform well. Well, he just about played every blooming game. So, again, and I keep repeating myself from the end of last season, this season, Nagard refused to leave today, didn't he, to go to Dortmund? Yeah, so he said he's not going, he's not leaving. So, again, highly unlikely playing at left back, but he might play 3 centre backs, or a left-sided centre back. So I would think there's a possibility you might see Nagard tomorrow night, and I doubt if he'll play Kilman, to be honest. I think there's other centre halves to come in there yet, so He might
So
rest
do you
it.
think he's going to play 3 centre-backs tomorrow night? Or because I think he might like to play 3 centre-backs against City, and he might like to give 3 centre-backs a trial run against Bournemouth. And this is another area where I'm really unsure. I find it's really, really tricky one to try and pick this team and second guess.
Oh, it's hard to second guess because he could end up with a 4-4-2. You wouldn't know, but if I'm looking at players that I don't want to see playing tomorrow night, it would be Kilman for injury reasons. You don't want to, and people have to play again. Toledo, is it Toledo? Is that you say his name? He's got to come. I agree. He's got to play. I think Nagard's got. If he's not leaving, he's got to play him. I don't. He's got to play him. He's got to play him. If he's not going to leave the club, then he's got to play him in some of these games. So Creswell also, so he could play Creswell. Well, Creswell's a left. Yeah, I mean he could play Creswell, Nagard, and Toledo tomorrow. It'd be a strange lineup, I know, but it is a possibility for him.
My kind of thinking along the Kilman to Devo partnership is I wonder if they'll play on Saturday, and where they haven't really played together, barring a few very limited minutes, is it a good opportunity to one, get some match time into Tadibo, and two, to perhaps get them to try and get some understanding. And this is where it gets difficult, because there's lots of arguments to do lots of different things for lots of different reasons, and there might be no right and wrong answers to how you introduce this player or that player, or the reasoning why. Just what does Lopetegui do? So anyway, you're not sure about Kilman, but you think Tadibo would play. Is that right?
Well, it's that thing. What you just said. It's difficult because it's early on in the season, but at some point he's got to try these players out for when. We play a lot of games. If we stay in the cup, if we get knocked out of the cups, we're just playing league games. It becomes easier for him. Yeah. But if we are trying to win either or both the cups, then he's going to have to know who he can trust and who he can't trust. And if he does get an injury in the Premier League, he needs to know who he can bring in and not bring in that makes him comfortable. So there's 1,000 questions and no answers.
Yeah,
really.
There is. Yeah, and.
Kuda, I wouldn't, again, that midfield there, what have we got? I'm disappointed with Paqueta all round. I just thought, if I had a choice, he wouldn't play tomorrow at all. I'd have Kudos in there.
Sure, but there's the point, and I'm a bit unsure about Paqueta and Kudos in that selection. But I think my thinking of justifying why I've placed Paqueta in tomorrow rather than Kudos is because I absolutely want Kudos fresh for Saturday against Man City.
Yeah. Well, there is, as I say, there's 1,000
and there's the factor in of why do you make that decision, and what's your reasoning behind that. But that's my reasoning behind it.
Yeah, and it's not a bad one, to be fair. It's a fair one.
And the same with Ward-Prowse. Prowse
has got to play.
Advanced role. Yeah, and I wonder, does Thomas get a rest? And is he? I don't think he's likely to play on Saturday. Actually, Souček. I think we might see Alvarez and Rodriguez in there. I've only started Alvarez tomorrow night because I think, does he benefit from the minutes and get 45 minutes or an hour under his belt?
60 minutes tomorrow, won't he?
Yeah, get an hour out of his way and get him off. Whereas if it was a different scenario, I wouldn't be putting Alvarez in there at all. But he's just coming back and he probably needs the minutes, He
needs 60 minutes. So, Alvarez and Rodrigo is going to be the two eventually, I would have thought.
Yeah, I would think. And Somerville, you want to see him get some minutes, and he must be getting frustrated. So, perfect opportunity to.
I'm surprised you've got Bowen in there, not Cornet.
Yeah. Well,
I'm joking.
Worried about the offsides.
I'm joking.
And there's an argument that you could play Kudus or Guilherme or whoever instead of Bowen and rest Bowen for Saturday. And again, I don't know what the right answer is. Just just kind of when I was thinking about it, how I came up, and I've kind of tried to reason my decisions behind each selection. Fulkrug, I think he needs to start coming into the team, and I think I'd like to see him on Saturday. So yeah, I think a few more minutes on the pitch around his teammates in a match situation, he's only going to benefit from. And the thing is, you've got to factor in the opposition as well. I mean, it's going to be a tricky game against Bournemouth. So it's not like we're playing some lower league team and we can just sort of throw whatever 11 we want out. I think we've got to respect Bournemouth, and we've got to try and
very much respect.
put a good team out if we want to win.
They're a good team, Bournemouth, make no mistake.
I was going to try. I've just clicked off that page, so apologies to the chat. I'm a bit behind with the comments, but I'll just try and catch up with a few now. Razim says he thinks we need to go for the cups, quarter-final or semi-final, but Bournemouth will be a tough test. And yeah, I agree with that. I don't think we should go for quarter-final, semi-final. I think we should go for the final.
We're looking to win it.
Yeah. And Tony, Early Doors TV, evening. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Just exchange of a few messages there. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Please do get involved in the chat. And if you're watching this after we're broadcast live, please do get involved in the comments and let's know what you think of our team selection, or if you think we've been talking a lot of nonsense, then let us know about that as well.
So it'll be all full of it.
We'll get full of messages, yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you want to change that team too dreadfully much then, Nick? Or
I couldn't second guess it, Jeff, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I just feel that if you're going to keep players like Nagard, James Ward-Prowse, if they're going to stay, and you've got to integrate them, it's got to be that we're all together in this no matter what. So these players need to play, otherwise we'll fail.
What I've done is I've put our whole squad here. So,
I mean, what's happening with this Irving? We've never seen head nor tail of him.
God, I can't see what I'm doing here. Irving, he played a couple of pre-season games, didn't he? And hasn't been seen since. But I don't know.
What's this boy? How'd you say that? Gillingham, number 17?
I'm not sure. I say Gillingham. He might be Gillingham. I don't know. Say it however you like, mate.
He's only a kid, isn't he? He's only 18,
isn't he? Yeah, 18. Yeah, the young Brazilian lad. I don't think he's going to start tomorrow. He might make the bench. He might get a few minutes. I guess it depends how the games go in, really. And that squad there is a squad of 25, and the Zuma's omitted from that.
Well, he's gone to Saudi, and his deal's more or less.
He's got to pass a medical first, didn't he?
I think he had it today. He was having it today, wasn't he?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the outcome of that, but yeah, that's our current squad anyway. So if you had a preference, you're welcome to swap a few in and out, mate.
No, I don't. No, be second. As I say, it's all about who's staying, who's going, who needs the time. I think Ings has to be let go. I just don't think he has any future at West Ham.
Let's take this team down now. Yeah, so if we're settled that we've probably got no idea what the team's going to be, but that's the one.
I think the last time we picked a team together was for the European.
Yeah, it was dreadful, wasn't it?
We didn't. Apart from the goalkeeper, I think we completely messed it up.
Yeah. So, what about score predictions? Shall we stick our neck out with that? What do we think the score's going to be? Is it Bournemouth, the draw specialist? Do you think they're going to take us to a penalty shootout, or?
Well, I'll take a 1-0 to us. Just get through. I don't know. Again, so hard. You don't know who's playing. You know, I would think with a fair wind, a little bit of luck, we can sneak that tomorrow.
I think it's going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm. Being at home gives us the advantage, I think.
I think we probably concede because I haven't got much confidence in our defence at the moment. Hopefully, as they get better understanding, everything comes together. I think we're getting exposed a little bit too easily now and again, and a bit shabby with possession. And
that's in transition. We've been it's in transition, which is also the players in the front of the back four as well.
Yeah, well, Mavropanos's pass to Eze was completely unnecessary. So we do things like that. We won't get away with it if we win.
In transition, especially against Villa, we were pulled apart in the midfield in that first half hour, which said about Rodriguez and that. Then he found better positions and he tightened things up. So again, that's the learning curve. But yeah.
So what did you say your prediction was then for tomorrow? Did you say you think it's going to be 1-0, do you?
1-0 the Hammers, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go a bit more confident that I still think we'll concede. I think we're going to be 2-1 up, catch them on a break, score a goal, make it 3-1. And I'm not convinced by that, but that's what I'm going to say. But we're both going for a Hammers win.
You're having that a bet, Fred, are you?
Yeah, I'm not really convincing myself, but I've said 2-1 in the last two fixtures, so I kind of sound like a broken record if I say 2-1 again. So I'm not going to back us to lose. So I'll say we'll win 3-1.
We don't often back us to lose, do we, Jeff? Let's be fair.
No, I don't like to back
We're
the
optimistic.
team to lose. But then we move on to bank a home win on Saturday, and we've got Man City to be a rather stern test.
It'll be a full strength side for us and a 2-0 victory. So
yeah, you've jumped straight to the prediction stage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I've put a bit of information together about City, how useful it is at this stage of the season. But obviously they've had that horrific injury to Oscar Bob, and he's out to the end of the year. And good luck to him. I hope he makes a full, quick recovery. What a wonderful little footballer he is.
He is indeed.
And then we've got Foden, who's been out with an illness. I think it's some kind of virus. And Rodri with his hamstring injury from the Euros. But they're both potentially back for Saturday. So I don't know whether they feature or whether they don't. But if they're fit and are ready for selection, that either of them can give us a headache.
They've only got 25 players that can give us a headache, so two won't make a lot of difference.
Yeah, Haaland's in fine form. He's 4 goals in his 2 games so far, and
Kearmon will have him in his pocket. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I've been quite impressed with Kearmon so far, I have to say.
Who's at home Saturday?
We're at home Saturday.
Yeah, we're at home. So we're home Wednesday and Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah. I'll leave that information up there if anyone wants to have a look at it while it's displayed. But I mean, let's say this stage of the season, I'll put a bit of current form and one thing and another. But I mean, it's early days. Nothing's telling us a lot. We know City are City, and sometimes they start slowly, but they don't look like they've started too slowly this year. So it could be a problem for us. So do you think we ought to try and pick a lineup for the City game then?
Well, I suppose the question is, you would need your strongest lineup. And who is what, given all the new players, forget they haven't played together or any of that. If you were picking your strongest lineup, what would that be? And I said Souček is the real problem in there for me. Because you can't deny the job he does, but it's a difficult one. I don't think Mavropanos has done too much wrong. I know you mentioned the pass earlier, but overall, I don't think he's done too much wrong alongside Kearmon. I think they're looking quite reasonably solid as the minutes pass by.
I think you're absolutely right. He hasn't done too much wrong, but I tell you what, he does good things in every game. When I've looked at here, I look at him throwing his head in down at whose feet did he in the Villa game?
That's the Villa game, yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's a good bit of defending. Done a couple of things in the Palace game, and I thought, oh, well done. But he also shows the errors. He gets positionally unaware sometimes. He's loose passing. He gets caught on the ball dilly-dallying, and kind of shows that in every game as well. So he really needs to sort of cut that out a bit quick. But we're a couple of games in, and I agree, he hasn't done too much wrong, and I'm kind of being a bit critical by pointing those things out. But they are there.
It's all very well having signings who are names and stuff, but they have to prove themselves, yeah? Now this Pulido, he's had a few minutes. You know, Mavropanos and Kilman have started okay. Do you risk putting another centre-back pair in there against City that has no understanding as yet?
Well, this is where I'm not sure. I've said to you before, I might have discussed it with you over the weekend. I think Lopetegui in certain games is not averse to the idea of a three at the back. And I think if he's got Wan-Bissaka and Emerson that can sort of drop into a five or operate as wing backs, he could do that. I don't know if he's going to try that against City, but it's one of those, is it a bit do we need to see it? Does he need a bit longer on the training pitch? Does he need to try it in one or two games against a bit different opposition? I don't know, but something is telling me that that's a possibility. I think he could start with the three of them.
But if he does, again, I know there's a massive problem. They're all professional footballers, and they've all played three at the back before. It's not something new.
No, it starts bringing problems a bit further up the pitch, because you would think that if you're going to play then with the three centre backs, you're going to play with Emerson and Wan-Bissaka as the wing backs. You'd put Alvarez and Rodriguez in the middle there. Then you're looking at three up top. You're probably going to play as Fulkrug as your spike man. You're not going to drop Bowen or Kudus. One of them got to play on the right-hand side, haven't they? In which case, you've got on the left-hand side, you've brought in Somerville for 30-odd million pounds. What are you going to do? Pay Pakatara on the left wing where he was.
There's room. That's what I'm saying. If you've got three at the back, what are you going? 3-4-3 are you going?
Well, I mean, let's build the team, and we can do it here. I'll put it on the full screen. I have to go on to the other page so that I can edit it. But we'd have Fabianski in goal, wouldn't we?
Areola
in goal, sorry. Yeah. Emerson plays, yeah?
Absolutely.
Kilman plays.
Yeah.
And Wan-Bissaka plays.
Yeah.
Now, does he play with two at the back or three at the back?
Probably against City, most teams like to be compact even at home. So you're probably right. You probably will go with the that, or he might do something cheeky because Alvarez can play in there as well.
Okay, so is Alvarez dropping in as the third centre back?
He could do.
And is Todibo playing?
All I say
is
Todibo to get his debut against Man City is probably not the ideal situation. So yeah, I'd say Mavropanos probably does play in the middle.
So let's put Mav in there.
If we're going to play a back three.
Right, and so Alvarez is dropping in.
Yeah, or you've got, again, I said you possibly could see Agard, but yeah.
He's not playing Agard.
Well, he could do. I mean, I don't think he's dead in the water yet. He's refusing to move. But anyway, he probably won't play him against City.
You're telling me, don't want to put Todibo in against City, but you're going to throw Agard in.
Well, he's got that. Yeah, he gets some bad press. I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be. But anyway.
I'm just saying I don't see him making that decision, though.
Uh-huh.
But who knows? So,
yeah.
Are we putting a third centre back in, or is
I would say he'll play. I think he'll definitely play three.
Okay.
I think you're
So
right.
let's take Ward-Prowse out of it because he won't be playing, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting Todibo in there. I can't believe he's playing a good.
No, I'm saying he might well play Alvarez in there. But yeah, whichever. Put Todibo
Let's
in there
just
then.
put him in there. So Alvarez is playing here, right?
Yeah. Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez is alongside him, right?
Absolutely.
So Rodriguez comes in here. Something like that.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably fair.
And then Bowen plays.
Oh, yeah.
Fulkrug starts.
Yeah.
And Caduce, would you say?
I'd say probably Kudus again, yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll look nothing like the team that starts on Saturday, but there you go.
Probably because you're involved. I've done quite well the last 2 weeks. I got the Villa lineup right.
Right, so what were you going to... So, right, if you're going to change that, where are you changing it?
Me?
Yeah, you said if you get it right, you've got it right. So that's the team that I think could do well against City. But what do you think? Then you say you change that then, yeah?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I think that's. I think
it's defensively very, very strong. I think you've still got the passing abilities of Alvarez and Rodriguez there. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's the team I would pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if Loppy will, but I'm saying I think
he'll play Souček anyway.
So you think he maybe doesn't play 3 at the back, and he plays Souček?
Not necessarily. He could go 3-5-2, Jeff. Which you could possibly see Kudus up front with Fulkirk, or you could have Bowen upside. You could have Bowen and Kudus. You just wouldn't know. But,
I know.
I don't see how Thomas is going to get left out, to be fair. So it's that's my team that I would play. That's not necessarily the team that he would play.
It's the tough thing with Thomas is that I mean he's been so heavily involved in the important areas of the pitch in the last 2 games.
you changed and brought Toledo in. I had Alvarez in the back 3, which would have left room for Thomas in the middle, to be fair. Yeah.
You can do
but it could be a 3, more likely to be a 3-5-2 or something, yeah. So they won't, everyone's negative against City, and he'll be no different. So in terms of we'll only be playing on the break. We won't be there trying to win the game, get possession. If we do, I'll be very surprised.
So do you think he's going to be something like that?
Well, could be, yeah. Well, a 2. So you're 3-5-2. Yeah.
Well, Alvarez is dropping in there, isn't he?
Yeah. So you could have Paqueta in there.
Oh, right. Fulkrug starts.
So
who's out?
Possibly. Or you play Kudus and Bowen up front. I'd probably more go with that for the pace than anything else.
Okay, so you've dropped Fulkrug out.
Mm-hmm. It's a big game, this.
Bring Paqueta in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bring
Paqueta in a 10.
Yeah, as a 10. And then
in here,
just narrow these boys up a little bit. Yeah, I think that. I'd probably play something like that. I think there's still enough going forward.
But he's going to play more like that, isn't he?
Huh?
He'll play more like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Paqueta,
I don't know if he's trying to just keep Souček out of the midfield, just say get up there out the way.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like I say, we bypass the midfield, and you can say it's because Thomas Souček is in there, but we were actually knocking the ball up towards Thomas Souček and bypassing our 2 footballing fucking midfielders. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, well, I think if the boys play a little bit wider and Paqueta and Paqueta and Thomas are making late runs into the box, it could be dangerous. But yeah, it's going to be one of them games, as we know, against City, where you're just closing down spaces and then picking the ball up and then trying to keep it yourself. That's why I kind of like if Paqueta is not being the arse that he's been the last few months, diving around the place, keeping hold of the ball, Rodriguez keeping hold of the ball. Yeah.
Well,
Players that can go into wide positions, i.e. not having Soufal there in the wide positions. Wan-Bissaka will keep it when it goes out to him.
yeah, Wan-Bissaka looks after the ball so much better than...
Well, he's just not going to whack it down the line, hopefully, is he? So,
No.
Now, that team that's there will probably look nothing like it, but that's the sort of team I would play anyway.
Well, listen, I'll after we've finished, I'll save it and I'll put it on.
And then you can take the mickey out of me next Tuesday, yeah?
Well, after, I don't know, it only lasts for a few days and then it gets wiped off on this, whatever this app is thing.
Yeah.
But I'll save it on there so we can have a look at it. I'll save it for 21 days or something. Yeah, we'll see. But this is the thing that we were talking about in all seriousness. He really does have quite a lot of options, doesn't he? And he can really set this team up in lots of different ways. And you can see our players got lots to offer in lots of different formations as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, it could be interesting times for us. And, yeah, fingers crossed that we'll get a win tomorrow. Even an ugly win will do, because being in the hat's the most important thing.
It's the only thing.
Yeah.
We've got to try and win something this year. We've got to.
Yeah.
At least try.
Yeah. And, of course, we've done the team and all that. We haven't done a prediction for Saturday. Well, you have. You've got a bank a home win, 2-0. Are you sticking to your guns on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I like your optimism and the way you're confident. I'm going to say the same result as our game on Wednesday, but it won't be 3-1 to us.
Right. So before 1 then.
Yeah. That would be nice.
We can't be defeated before we start, Jeff. That's just can't be the way.
Yeah, I don't like predicting a loss, but I'm not sure that we're quite ready and the team's quite ready for an in-form Manchester City. And so if we get anything out of it, I'll be absolutely delighted. I would absolutely love it if West Ham proved me wrong. Anyway, we've been on a while.
To be fair.
No, a point would be brilliant. Just before we go, though, Nick, because I know you can't hang around for too long, but one thing, I listened to the More Than Just a Podcast today, which is a very good listen, and I recommend to you, if you haven't listened to it, Nick, and anyone who's watching, if you're not familiar with it, give it a listen. It's brilliant. But one thing that came on the podcast I wasn't aware of was about a bit of a protest on Saturday at the Palace game. Do you know anything about that, Nick? The black balloons?
No.
Okay. Apparently there was a bit of a black balloon protest at the game on Saturday, and Nigel, who was part of that, or on the podcast, who was telling the tales. He tells the story much better than I will. So go and have a listen to that. But yeah, apparently he was blowing up a balloon, and a Crystal Palace steward approached him and told him not to, and he sort of challenged them, and they said that the club, West Ham United, had contacted Crystal Palace and asked them to not let anyone in with balloons and what have you. But anyway, apparently they did get a few balloons off, but because the wind was blowing the wrong way, it was blowing into the stand rather than on the pitch. He said if the wind was blowing the other way, it would have blown it across the pitch, because I think it went largely unnoticed. I didn't notice any of that during watching the game.
It was probably all blown out of proportion, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a serious thing with all the concessions, though, and I must admit, I am supportive of it. I think the club are behaving quite poorly, really. I know other clubs are doing it, so that's
No, but it
kind
was
of their line. But there's no
it's a
need to
broken
do
promise,
it.
isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
broken promise. When Karen Brady said she forefronted this London stadium that it'll be football for all, families, yeah, good, cheapest prices in the Premier League, encourage young families and young supporters to be the next generation. We ain't going to do it like that.
no, and I mean, we've both been to the stadium. We've both sat in that upper tier. I mean, asking our pensioners to go clambering up and down there to get their concessions, right? If they want to sit in the lower tiers, they've got to pay full price so that the club can just maximise their
Well, the
money.
thing is,
Let's get it right. Ticket revenue's not even like a huge source of income to the football club anymore, is it?
no. But I think, having sat in many places now, I haven't had a bad view there. So I don't even get why they say some. I mean, I've sat up high, I've sat in the middle, I've sat low, and I haven't had a bad view there yet. So I
It's
don't
better
get.
in the lower tiers, though.
Uh,
I would say.
that's an opinion.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I've watched it from several different places now, and even high up, I even took the opportunity when there was a spare seat right at the back to go and sit and watch 5 minutes, and it was like nothing wrong with this view, So
Yeah, I've sat up the back behind the goal. I don't like it right up there. That is right up.
you still get
Can't
a
even
perfectly
see.
good view, though. I'm not saying there
Can't
aren't
even,
better views, but I'm saying overall there are no bad views at that stadium. I know a lot of people don't like the stadium. I like it, so. But then, over the years, people will grow to like it. I'm sure. They haven't got a lot of choice really.
no, not a lot of choice. But if we start winning a few things, it'll make the journey a bit sweeter, won't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, it will.
Yeah. So let's hope we can do that. Anyway,
Well,
Nick, we've been going for nearly an hour, and I know that you've got work tomorrow, and you don't want to be up
yeah,
too late.
I'm a half fiver in the morning, mate. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, mate. It was really
No,
good to see you.
it's always a pleasure. It was nice to see you over the weekend, as always.
Yeah. No, that was terrific. It's
Yeah.
always too long before we catch up like that.
Mm-hmm.
And transfer window shuts on Friday, so if we're about next week, maybe we'll do a roundup on the
I'll be
transfer
around.
window
I'll be around. The one that looks more likely is that Solar. If we can get someone out the door, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently so. So rumour has it.
I think the Tammy.
I'll wait till Friday evening when the window shuts, and then
I
I'll
think
see.
that Tammy Abrahams thing's just. I think that's all bollocks myself.
I'm not. I hope it's all bollocks. I'm not that keen on it, if I'm honest. I mean, if he comes in and tears it up, fantastic. But he looks like a typical West Ham injury-prone.
But that's the problem.
Won't make the impact striker that we've signed before to me. So
2.5 years he's been struggling, so we don't need him on our books for the next 5. That's for sure. Yeah. No. Anyway, good night, everyone that's listened in. Thank you very much for listening in.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone in the chat. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll knock it on the head there.
Take care.
And say good night.
Yeah, good
thanks,
night,
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. To the